Yes, sir. We live. Bet that. Bet. A little bit. Damn.
Yeah.
Hey, man, what it do, y'all? Back in the building. Check it out. You see what we got with us today, man. A legend. Gxldsoulrebel in the building, man. Make some noise. W's in the chat. Check it out, though. Hey, first of all, good shit on your show last night. Boy put it on. Him and Young Elder was in the building. Setting shit off. Shout out to everybody performing last night too. But today, man, we got some information, some knowledge, you know what I'm saying? We're trying to pass on type shit. Today, this one obviously called The Mask and the Mirror. So we're just gonna start off by diving in on a few, you feel me? A few things that may have to do with persona, with everything to do with who we think we are, you know, the ego, different kind of dichotomies people have, personality, and how deep that shit really go. Because we all kind of wearing a mask in a way, you know. Like when you look at it from a perspective of actors, right? You know, actors put on a mask and become something else, and that's really just how, like, ancient cultures used to look at a mask like you put on a mask to become something else. You don't put on a mask to hide who you are. You literally transform it in a way, you know. So like, it's definitely power there.
Yeah, I guess when I first heard them terms, I was thinking of like, you know, I was talking about a little bit before we started even recording, just the ego and especially in the book I've been reading, the ego and archetype book, it's talking a lot kind of about this topic, and it talks a lot about the ego and the archetypal self, or the archetypal psyche, you know what I'm saying, or the self, you know, a bunch of terms for that. But basically that's what they go into detail a lot about those two subjects, you know what I'm saying, and basically saying a lot about how they reflect one another, you know what I'm saying. The self and the ego is what I'm talking about, and just how it talk a lot about it makes the example of how when babies come into the world. I was talking about this, I think, on the last one a little bit too, about just how when they come in, you know, they assume and move from a place of, for one, less thought, but they assume that they are that self, you know, basically, you know what I'm saying, just as they are, you know what I'm saying, and not even necessarily in an egotistic way, but it plays out differently than I guess in that adults would, you know what I'm saying. But basically the point I'm making, though, just to sum that shit up, is the ego in itself is one and the same thing, but they operate in two kind of separate ways, if you will, you know what I'm saying. A lot of times, a lot of things they say in that book also is that this ego is born out of the self, the same way you are born out of your parents, you know what I'm saying. Like, you come from something else and you're born as a kind of fragment of that, you know what I'm saying, and your experience is as such, you know what I'm saying. And to circumvent the suffering that could come with that, you have to realize that you are one and the same as your parents, you know what I'm saying. And in this case, not just the biological sense, but in the archetypical or the metaphysical, spiritual sense, you know, whatever way you want to term it. And what I guess to simplify that, you know, is to say that you know that you are your own person. You have your own thoughts, your own experience, but at the same time, you recognize that everybody else's experience is just as divine, as valid, as detailed and complex as yours, you know what I'm saying? And that's where the unity comes in and the love comes in from that aspect, you know. And I think that's a good point to make, because then you can still love somebody or look upon somebody with compassion, without having to join in a social group or having to be all kumbaya. And that's cool too if you feel like you want to be, but you don't have to need that just for us to get along, basically, is what I'm saying. So, yeah. With that, I'll sum that up. So, yeah.
And what you just said too, like, I feel like is another form, what's it called? You just said it, social groups, like joining some kind of clique or faction or whatever side, Republican, Democrat. Those are kind of masked too. And it's like once you associated with that mask or people who wear those type of masks, now you associate it with the way that those people think. And when you don't move with the way that they think, now they kind of outcast you, and people are afraid of that. You know, it's a lot of fear associated with isolation, which is another part in the ego and archetype. You talk about the isolation of self. You know, it's a part in the journey where you get removed from all of the things that feel familiar and positive and good. You get removed from that, and now it's like colder. It's pain you're dealing with, and to come out of that, feel victorious. You know what I'm saying? You start to like to win. You know what I'm saying, and especially in a social setting, there can be a lot of feelings of like victoriousness or celebrations when you feel like people are celebrating you. But this is talking about in like just an individual sense, right? You win and you doing what you're doing, and then you fuck up, right? And now you fucked up and you isolated. People ain't fucking with you, whatever you want to call it. And to come out of that, to recover and bounce back and actually have something like you're proud of, you know, coming from that place of isolation, you can start to feel yourself again in a way. You know what I'm saying? You like, okay, boom, I'm up. And then that kind of repeats the cycle of what I just described of, okay, you doing your thing, you winning, you kicking shit, and then you fucking up, and then you right back in that place of isolation, you know. So like when it comes to what we're talking about with masks and the social, what the example I'm making in a social setting, it's a part of some social group. When that mask break, that can be destructive for some people. It's gonna be explosive. Whatever it turned into, it's gonna be some kind of high energy that come from that, because that's what you. There's so many people who were looking at you as that thing, and now you being faced with not having that mask to lean on or to hide behind, which is a kind of like a double-sided thing. Like we tend to use masks to hide things, to mask things, where in reality, you know what I'm saying, these symbols, really, these masks can be used to like we was talking about earlier, transform yourself, really. So what is a mask being used to transform yourself? You know, like what do that mean? It's kind of like, imagine like a football player or somebody, and maybe if you play sports, before you go out there, you hyping yourself up. You telling yourself, man, we finna kill their ass. You saying all kind of stuff to put you in a mindset of becoming something out there for that time that you plan, that you're doing that activity. Now, people do this all the time. You really programming yourself with thoughts. When somebody listening to NBA Youngboy all the time, you know, and they trying to fake live the life he describing, you know, that's a mask. You act out these masks, you know. It's characters, like kind of think of it like a play, like how they say the whole world is a stage. You know, everybody a character. So what character are you playing? Everyone's playing one. You know what I'm saying? Everybody plays at least one. Some people have many characters they play, you know. Yeah. This shit interesting for real, because the more you break down how people think, the more you kind of start to become self-aware too. Like, what have I done that align with this type of shit, you know?
Absolutely.
It's like when Jung, like we was talking about Carl Jung, he called a mask the persona. And that's quite literally like, but before Carl Jung had coined it, that it was pretty much persona. The word persona was referred to as like the word to describe masks that actors wear. Like, so it was a theater word for real. But then Carl Jung came along and he got his whole breakdown. And he put it as, this is the mask people wear. These are the personalities, the characteristics people associate with what they call themselves. Okay? And the whole time this should be coming from trauma, memories, but a lot of times your most potent or your memories that stick with you the most, even if you don't remember them, are the painful ones. We like to remember the happy ones and think about the times shit went good, but a lot of times it's fucking it's the traumatic things that happen to us that get buried and end up growing into some shit that you see on the surface. It's the seed down there that's causing you to act out in these certain ways. And it don't always gotta be a bad thing. Like sometimes, a lot of times, shit, trauma be beautiful. The masks we wear, are to show the best parts of ourselves. It's just so much more, you know what I'm saying? For real, like,
No, for real, like exactly what you saying, bro. And like you said, I feel like one of the keys in understanding this whole subject is that the masks themselves are inevitable as long as you're alive. You know what I'm saying? The key is not to like disregard them or treat them as if they're not there per se, but to know them for what they are and be able to move accordingly. And by moving accordingly, I mean be able to understand that they are temporary or something that your essence is something greater than that. You know what I'm saying? And it's basically a uniform is what I like to compare it to. It's like kind of like a work uniform. It's like, when you go to job, you dress a certain way, you do a certain thing, but when you get home, you take that shit off. You know what I'm saying? When you get home, you just you might roll around in your BJs or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that's you and your essence. You know what I'm saying? It's like you letting your hair down, you doing things that you wouldn't do at work. You might be lighting up a little something, drinking a little something, doing whatever you do. You know what I'm saying? Because that's you in your element, you in your space. And it's the same way psychologically. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Like you said, what are the masks? You know what I'm saying? Some of the masks that come to mind for me, are religion. You know what I'm saying? Sports. Our personal stories, I think, is a heavy one. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people that might sound crazy too. But our personal stories, what else? Our friends, you know what I'm saying? Our emotions. And I would even go as far as to say our thoughts, our thought forms, you know what I'm saying? Are all essentially maths, you know what I'm saying? And think about this too, it's like when you going through a situation or you perceiving yourself in a certain circumstance and you feel yourself having a certain emotion, whether it be happy or sad or angry or whatever, you know what I'm saying? At least I know for me, you know what I'm saying, the thoughts speed into a certain story, a certain narrative of, oh, this is happening, you know what I'm saying? And then all these other thoughts and other things come in to kind of confirm that feeling, you know what I'm saying? And that becomes a whole thing. And especially if that goes unchecked, which in many people it does, it boils into something that you really think is real and valid, you know what I'm saying? And now you're moving as if even other people need to like acknowledge that and cater to that, you know what I'm saying? And really it's something that you need to deal with, and it's a mask, a personal experience, you know what I'm saying? Something that essentially is not you, but you're taking for your whole totality, you know what I'm saying?
So can I ask you a question? Do you think that, why do people do that? Like you said, they think it's something and then they want other people to think it too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Then you said, I know they're like kind of masking it. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, for sure. So I feel like, a lot of people are really on the whole right and wrong shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I mean to that to say is like, they're really attached to the way they view things, the way they feel about things, you know what I'm saying? And that's not to say that you should just doubt yourself, every time you have a thought or a belief, but it's to say that once you feel that another person is wrong, or that you feel like you're almost in fight or flight mode when somebody is doing a certain thing that you perceive as wrong, or that may be wrong, then that's where things can get potentially violent. They can get emotionally unbalanced, you know what I'm saying? Whether you're just in an emotional fluster, even if it's not involving another person directly. But yeah, all these things can happen, you know, and amongst other things. And uh, I think these things happen because you want another person to validate or feel exactly what you feel, or at least you want to feel justified in your experience, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that another person is not necessarily doing what they should, you know what I'm saying, or things are not happening as they should, then this causes an emotional in a mental
Usually an
upset.
extreme reaction, an extreme emotional reaction. Why do you think that is?
I think this is because
Well, what is should? You said, so tell us more about that. People being you upset because something that should have happened didn't. Should have, but it didn't. What is that should?
That should is those.
And why does it affect us that way?
Those thoughts and emotions that convince your consciousness to basically formulate your reality in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Your narrative, you know, as I like to say, because, you know, just like in any other story, the narrator, the narrative is basically telling you what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And that's the same thing that your emotions and your thoughts tend to do in those type of situations. You know what I'm saying? And why that is important is that those things might be happening, and that is often, I would almost say, if not always, not the whole truth. You know what I'm saying? And if you're reacting off of something, off a piece of the whole truth, then you're always reacting from a place of you're not acting from a place that you really could be, as far as getting the results that you ultimately want and could have. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So hopefully that answered it a little bit better. But yeah, but the should and the shouldn't is just that. Such and such didn't do this. You know what I'm saying? He reacted, or she reacted in this way, or they said this thing, and I don't feel like they should have said that. Or
it's almost like they trigger.
Yeah.
It's almost like the should is like they trigger when you're upset about something that should have happened that didn't happen. It's almost like a trigger to where now you feel entitled to some kind of emotional reaction or some kind of, I don't know, extreme, like you were saying. And it's like one side or the other. It could be violent, you know, but some kind of something extreme. And it's like, what is it about that thing that is provoking that kind of emotion? He called it the should, you know, or the way things should be. Type shit. When it don't go that way, now it's, oh, you're not gonna disrespect me, you're not gonna play me, I'm a real one. Or, you know, my mama ain't raised no, you know, or whatever the fuck niggas tell themselves to, I guess, feel a certain way about something. But yeah, that is what needs to be explored. For people, for those who heard the shadow work, which if you hear, we know what that is. Like, you know, diving into the self, to your psyche, and finding out what these things mean to you. You know, I kind of forgot what I was saying, but looking at yourself. Oh, figuring out them points, those trigger points. What does make you mad? Everybody's so cool and so don't give a fuck, but then everybody, you know, it's so much killing and violence and there's so much crazy shit. Look at what the kids is interested in. Look at what's promoted, you know, by adults. Like that's the world we live in. I mean, and once you come to understand what this shit is for real, a lot of sadly, a lot of it start making more sense. You know, at least for me, that's what it seemed like happened. Is like, man, why do XYZ be happening? Why is people, you know, why am I doing whatever? Like, it started to make sense. It's because you are in a pressure field. They really want you in like a catatonic state, just a fully controlled, just observable thing, almost to where you lose your free will. But obviously, that's not what we're here for, you know. And like with them trying to switch everything over to like basically a technocracy, like really that's what we living in now, like Big Brother society. But even beyond that, like some real shit. The most 90% of the jobs is robots and shit, and we being surveilled and controlled. And you know, like imagine this, like when you trying to call because something with your card or something, and you all you need to do is just talk to a real person and have them hit a button for real. That's element of society finna be gone. Everything finna be automated to where if you don't fit into one of these 8 choices they got on the card, shit, you kind of just finna be dealing with whatever you're dealing with, you know. And with everything being this, is it coming with the removal of like consciousness and compassion. At least that's their goal. You know, they want you to feel like, oh, we don't feel no more. But it's important to remember, understand that the real ones is out there. You know, and even if it's crazy because I figured something recently, like even if somebody is like a fucking NPC or something, you can still kind of program their like false consciousness just with your energy, like that, and they'll be a magnet to that almost. Even though their ultimate mission is to like participate in your destruction or just the system continuing the way it goes, really. Even if that's that, you can still do like create that, like change that reality for that time that you around that, or even just passing through. Sometimes it can happen that quick, you know, because that's another like when I think of mass, I kind of think of like possession, you know, like possession from a spirit almost, you know, like how you hear somebody, oh, they was possessing, you had to call a priest to get an exorcism. That's what most people are familiar with, and that's on purpose. They want you to know about that one. They want you to think of that kind of situation when you hear possession or exorcism or something to do with any kind of spirit, anything that's not straight up, you know, God and Jesus and the devil bad, anything not that, they want you to be afraid. That's a mask they try to like tattoo on your ass type shit. They want you to just live with the idea to not dig any deeper than whatever the surface of what's presented to you, you know, and most of us have figured out by now, well, not most for real, but people starting to wake up, you know. Most of us realize that's bullshit. You need to question like everything. Everything needs to be examined and questioned and broke down, because otherwise it's just going with it and fucking with like having to deal with older folks. Sometimes you might notice they real resistant to change. I mean, everybody is, but like resistant to change to where they kind of just telling you, nah, this is the way it's done, and that's just how it's always been done. And it's like, if you asking, well, why? Can you tell me why we do it that way? Like, we can't change nothing about it just because that's how it's always been. And that's kind of the formula they want you to adopt just in your daily life. Like, why are, you know, XYZ police this happening? Well, look at, you know, and they want you to just accept what happened, the beatings, and then in your mind create the actual thought that, look at me, I'm getting all over the place. They want you to believe that. They want you to know that in your mind that police is finna beat your ass if they catch you on some bullshit, or they finna fuck you up somehow. They want you to think these things and know these things and live with that fear. You know, that's what a lot of this shit be about. Like, once y'all learn about the crisis actors, like you heard about them before?
Yeah,
bro.
Sure.
What the fuck? Ain't nobody ever heard of no damn crisis actor. You know what I'm saying? Where like we don't hear about them jobs. You trying to apply at restaurants and factories and shit. Like, who the hell? Where is this shit coming from? You know, but they know just where to find these groups of people. And really, these be the ones getting on these commercials talking about, oh, you know, I was a part of this tragedy or XYZ. And it's sad though, because a lot of this shit is real mixed with the fake. You don't know what to believe. To the point some motherfuckers going crazy, they wearing the mask of like the mad scientists. They think they got it all, you know, figured out. You know, boom, the whole world is crazy and evil. That's not the case. You know what I'm saying? But what is taking place is total just like evil almost. But who are you to decide what the plan is? You gotta play your role. Obviously you could tell what's what, you know. That's why we gotta start removing the mask. The time of mask has come to like a close for real. Now we gotta move into what it really is. You adopting your real self. You know what I'm saying? Integration. How do you become the mask for real? Whole time it wasn't a mask, it was you. You didn't even know it. You was telling yourself you was XYZ. You was really that though.
Mm-hmm.
Just, you wanna know how I know? Cause look at what you did while you was in the mind state of I gotta do this or I ain't got no choice. Whenever you get into those mind states, you'll notice the money just show up all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, damn, I paid for that shit, or I borrowed and boom, and I got it paid for, and I'm still here. That's money. That's a earthly. You feel me? And it applies to all levels, man. You good for real, but you gotta like not only it ain't even just about accepting it. There's so much that you gotta clear away. So much energetic. You could say cleansing, resetting, just centering and a lot. Really just allowing to be. Because it's like, it's always, we get pushed so much shit about, you know, you gotta heal, you need to, blah, blah. You fine.
Yeah.
Like, you good for real. You know what I'm saying? The things that do need to take place is accountability. But once you become aware, once you can shine the light, it's no longer the dark. You feel me? You can see it. So what you finna do? Now it's time, you know what I'm saying, to clean up for real, to get shit together.
No, for sure. Speaking of facts, and yeah, something I want to add too is, you know, just trying to make it plain for people too, like on a day-to-day, you know what I'm saying, how do we play out these masks, you know what I'm saying? I know for me, a lot of time they happen in the reactions that I have, especially the unconscious ones, the ones you kind of just, you know, don't think about per se. I think a lot of it has to do with the thoughts that we have and the way we view thoughts themselves, you know what I'm saying? Because I know one, and not to try to, you know, not to get too off topic, but a breakthrough that I had, you know, in this journey was when I read the book New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. And he was just saying, you know, you are not your thoughts, you know what I'm saying? I know at first glance, you niggas like, oh yeah, whatever, cool, you know, but it's like, no, you really are not those thoughts, you know, and if you are really aware of that and are able to understand and respond from that place, it can really change your life and your understanding, you know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that to say, these things, I feel like, are how these masks kind of start to even build and form. It's through the thoughts, through what we tell ourselves, through what we feel, and the narratives we, you know, formulate from what we feel. And maybe not even so much in the emotions themselves, but the narratives that we derive from those things. And that, again, goes back to, you know, recurring thoughts, your recurring beliefs, your deep-seated values. You know, mom always told me this, or I'm this religion, or this is the way things are because that's how it's been, you know what I'm saying? And that, like whatever category. Yeah, you know, and these things all are part of, you could either say one mask or these are all multiple different masks, you know what I'm saying? And they all play into the narrative of who you think you are, you know what I'm saying? What you think you are, what you believe yourself to be, or who you believe yourself to be. And I feel like that is a very big mask, you know what I'm saying? Because it's the main thing that separates us from others, or make us feel as if we're separate from not only other people, but just nature in general, you know what I'm saying? And you see the things that we do once we feel that we're other than from that, you know? It's to the point that humans, a lot of us really feel that we're not even animals to a certain degree, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't almost feel like we have no relation to the animal world, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, we are advanced, you know, beings for sure to a certain degree, but we definitely still have an animal nature that needs attention and needs acknowledgement and needs real, just acceptance, you know what I'm saying? Because if not, that is how, another way how masks can form, you know what I'm saying, by pushing things of your nature under, you know what I'm saying? And that's how something you was talking about earlier with the trauma shit, is that a lot of times when we go through things, or we, you know, have certain emotions about things, especially intensely, they get pushed down, you know what I'm saying? And they never go away. That's the thing about the shadow. Shadow is never gone just because you're in the dark. It's just that you can't see it, you know what I'm saying? And the shit that you can't see, the mask, you know what I'm saying, is how you start to validate and imprison yourself in these certain experiences. And you know how they say, you know, you attract what you fear, or you attract what you are. And a lot of people kind of misunderstand that shit, because people be joking around, I'm scared of $100,000 and shit like that. Like, that's a funny little joke, I get it, but it's like, no, if you really understand that, like, you get what you are, you know what I'm saying? And I kind of forgot where I was going with that shit, but yeah, just knowing that all these things play into a certain narrative, and the narrative is what becomes hardened into something that you take with you throughout your whole life and believe to be real. And the only problem with that is that it's not your real essence. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, once you say you like an actor in a movie, you know what I'm saying? The actor, once he's in the movie, he's fully in the movie, you know what I'm saying? He's playing the role, he's saying the script, he's dressing the part. A lot of people even do physical changes. They do everything they do to get in character. But once the movie is over, the movie is over, you know what I'm saying? They're actually back to who they are, you know what I'm saying? And I would relate this kind of topic to that, you know what I'm saying? Is that, okay, while you're in the movie, you don't need to act like you're not in it, you know what I'm saying? But you also need to understand it for what it is, so that you can, maneuver in such a way that you're able to transcend it, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's the whole point of even talking about this, you know what I'm saying, is that we're able to transcend these masks, essentially, once we become aware of what they actually are and how they affect us, you know what I'm saying? So just to sum up all that shit I'm saying is basically, and a big part of my idea of this shit is at least is that the root of where a lot of these things start, is, at least as far as humans, is that the thought forms that we have, the way we perceive things, all these things kind of become masked once we become attached to these things. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we join certain, groups, social groups, certain, we feel like, okay, it's this against that, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm a part of this, and that over there is that thing, you know what I'm saying? And this thing has started wars, it's starting in a more domestic level, just fights, you know what I'm saying? Relationship, pardon. It's just a thing that's like, we're not handling these conflicts, these certain natural things that are gonna happen the way we could, because we are so attached to the fragments instead of understanding that they are fragments and being more focused on the unionizing of these fragments, and therefore getting to the actual self and beyond the mask and shit like that. So,
that's like a broken mask motherfuckers is wearing, blocking them from being whole. All you gotta do is take that shit off. The way you put it right there, I think that's the whole journey, man. I'm glad you mentioned that too, of that's what all this shit about. I ain't spent too much time on the channel talking about it, but I'll talk to bro about this. We talk about this plenty times, is the whole point of even learning anything to do about bettering yourself, if you could call it that, is to do it. It's to do the work. It's to see the results from the work, this whole talking about whatever might be perceived as mystical or occult information and whatever you look at it as, the whole purpose is to, for one, you gotta determine for yourself what is the purpose, because if you're just doing it just to know about some stuff and feel like, learn the secrets of the world, and you heavy into conspiracies, you might be here for that. But if you on some spiritual shit, the real ones is trying to make it out of here. It's over with. Earth is not it. You know, Earth is not it. So many of us are born with the mask of like human. We think this is everything, and we taught that. We taught that you know you gotta grow and have and earn things, and you gotta get things. And some of us think we can take things and still, and we got all kind of masks, but it all has this. It is all the mask of like human, and you have to do human shit, which is beautiful because we're here to have that experience. And depending how you look at the shit, like some people came here, they here against their will. You know, some people think you chose to come here. Whatever it is, you here though. You know, you here. So the way I look at it is, and it ain't even so much how I look at it, but what just makes sense is you here. So why not do something to advance your spiritual light, to grow, to and grow get tricky because it's all this stuff that be about like self-help and how to live a better life. It's like the point is not to exactly live a better life. That's more so a byproduct of you getting your spirit together. Like bro was saying, it's like becoming one again for real, and it's a never-ending process. I don't think you probably won't become one in your lifetime to where you whatever you picturing that to be. But the trick is that the whole time you are that though. It's not to live some perfect human life, which is the trick. Which is also a double. It's like a revolving trick door or something. It's like because, bro, as you just said it, a paradox. Because it don't matter. You're not here to live a good human life, but you want to. Who don't want to live a good human life? You don't want some fire ass food in a beautiful place with a beautiful, you know, first partner. Go ahead.
Right there, and I don't mean to cut you off.
No.
I'll just say this, try to sum it up real quick too. I was just thinking like, it's kind of like when a baby get their toy snatched, you know what I'm saying? When it's time to lay down or it's time to eat or time to do a different thing, they was just into whatever they was doing with the toy. You know what I'm saying? You know how kids be, they got their imaginations running wild, and then it's time for something to do something different, and now it's a whole frenzy for them. You know what I'm saying? Like their world is like just crashing down, and the parent is just like, in reality, you know, like nigga, nothing's really happening to you. You know what I'm saying? Like I experience this all the time with my lady and her son. You know what I'm saying? It's like when it's time to do something he don't really want to do in the moment, it's just like what the fuck, you know what I mean? Like you just treat he crying. It's like you would think you just treat him so bad, but in reality, nothing really happened. You know what I'm saying? It's just his toy got snatched. You know, whether it's literally or figuratively.
How did that affect him, though?
You know what I'm saying?
And what did that mean as far as how our things that affect us play out?
Yeah.
You know, it's showing it even in a kid, like you know. And I say that shit all the time, bro. Is everyone's pain is relative. Everyone's experience is relative. The same way as some, whatever 40-year-old, whoever, some grown motherfucker stressing about bills, and they're like, man, I'm gonna get kicked out or whatever food where their next meal gonna come from. It's a baby somewhere stressing about a toy. It's like it's bedtime, and I'm like world falling apart, you know. And it's important that we teach our kids, man.
And I was gonna say that too, not to keep butting in, but now I feel like for the adults, that's our toys, you know, the responsibilities that we kind of have, or more so even the possessions, you know what I'm saying?
Damn,
like
that's
the
our
cars
toys.
and the, you know what I'm saying, or just even the people, like don't let it be a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you know what I'm saying? We feel like we definitely possess them, you know what I'm saying? Oh, this motherfucker better not do such, you know what I'm saying? Like, and let them do something, or let somebody of importance in your life, you feel like do something. Now you just, you know what I'm saying, reacting almost baby-like for real, you know what I'm saying? And as your whole adult, you know what I'm saying? These are our toys now, you know what I'm saying, in a way. You know what I'm saying? Not that we literally playing with them in that sense, but in a way, these are our toys. These are our temporary fixings, you know what I'm saying, that are eventually gonna go away, and there are certain times where they have to go away. And we don't always accept that and react in a way where we can, you know, move forward and really transcend and take it for what it is, you know. And I think I'll wrap it up with this, that kids are really good at that, you know what I'm saying? Like, they are really good at moving on and not taking shit to the heart, you know what I'm saying? Because as much as they might throw a fit and do all that shit that he do, like, he finna move on the next second. Like, especially if you start playing with him, like, it's like that shit didn't even happen. You know what I mean? And it's like, adults, though, we don't do that, though. We hold on to shit, and now we got a whole worldview about life and God fucking with us and such, you know what I'm saying? And these are the toys, and these attachments, you know what I'm saying, are what we are become identified with, you know what I'm saying? And these identifications are how these masks form, you know what I'm saying? And the problem itself is not in the things themselves, because we need these things. We're living in the world, you know what I'm saying? It's like, we don't need to pretend or act like we're sitting on a fucking mountain, you know what I'm saying? I'm in the world, I'm in the city, I'm a nigga. I'm gonna do what niggas do to a certain degree. I'm gonna do what I do, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna live a human life, but I'm also gonna understand it for what it is, you know what I'm saying? Which is something that is real to a certain degree, but also temporary, you know what I'm saying? What's more real, what's really real, is the essence, you know what I'm saying? And what's the essence, you know what I'm saying? Just to break it down for people and not make it too, you know, whatever. The essence is your total being, your being before you
creation.
before creation, and before you was given all these thoughts, this name, this identity. You're a part of this race. You're a part of the United States. All the list could go on and on and on. You know what I'm saying? All these human forms and things that we've made for good purposes in certain degrees, but seeing them for what they are. All these things are what that is. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is to know that you existed before all of that shit. You was a real motherfucker before all that shit, and really you was the realest motherfucker before that. You know what I'm saying? And still you're the realest motherfucker under all of that. You know what I'm saying? Most importantly,
they can't get rid of that.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, once you really understand that and really hone that in, you know what I'm saying? At least, and even start to hone that in, like, you live in society from a whole different place, you know what I'm saying? And not that everything just becomes peaches and roses, because you still gonna have your challenges, but you're still able to live and view things from a different perspective, and you're not taking things nearly as hard, because you understand this is the nature of life, you know what I'm saying? And things change, you know what I'm saying? Things change all the time, you know, and one thing about the mass is a lot of us we love these trinkets, we love our possessions, we love our shiny parts. We hate to lose shit. Even me, you know, I hate to lose my favorite book or some shoes, or, man, I give a motherfucker my book, they don't bring that shit back. You know what I'm saying? I'll be feeling away because I feel like it's mine, you know what I'm saying? Or anything it is, you know what I'm saying? It could be anything, some money, some whatever, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, you get attached to these things and you feel like, this is mine, this is me. You know what I'm saying? So when something happens to it that it inevitably was gonna happen, now you get flustered. You know what I'm saying? Or your identity is in question, even unto yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that happens too often. You become susceptible to that too often. You know what I'm saying? If you don't understand who you are under that, or more so what you are, is what I like to say. You know what I'm saying? Being able to, you know, Christians say this shit all the time, being in the world but not of it. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of times people get it misconstrued when people say God is not separate from yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because there are so many masks of so-called God, you know what I'm saying? Even the word, in my opinion, the term God is a mask for something ultimately unnameable and really quantifiable, definable, you know, but that's a whole nother, you know, whatever. But yeah, there's so many masks of God, you know what I'm saying? And all these things are really pointing essentially to the same thing a lot of the time, but they might be saying it or presenting it in a different way. And what we do is get caught up on either side of either thing, and then as a result, our consciousness becomes fragmented, or we become boxed in into believing we are a section or a piece of a whole puzzle, when in reality, we're the whole puzzle the whole time. We're just operating from a piece of it, or maybe a piece that has gotten broken off figuratively, you know what I'm saying? So the importance of this topic, you know what I'm saying, the mask in the mirror, is to know how to function in the world and still not be of it, in the sense that you gain all these attachments and you can't transcend them, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, for me, I would say the math start with your name. I wouldn't even say start with, but these could be some of them. The name, the story, you know what I'm saying? Your family, you know what I'm saying? All these things, your history, your past, that's a big one. People hold on to their past and their narrative and wear that as something they consciously have to take with them, mostly for security purposes, you know? And that's what masks kind of are. They're like security guards, you know what I'm saying? Holding certain shit out and certain shit in from the club of your mind, you know what I'm saying? It's like the mask is sitting there at the motherfucking door, like, hold on, who is you? You know what I'm saying? It's a new idea, it's a new concept. Nah, we already lit up in here. You got some other shit going on. You can't really come in here. You know what I'm saying? And these things are security things, you know what I'm saying? These things keep the ego feeling safe, the mask feeling safe, you know what I'm saying? Feeling like the reality is what it is, you know what I'm saying? It keeps it linear, it keeps it less chaotic, at least to even just to the ego, you know what I'm saying? Even if it's really chaotic in real life, the ego itself is gonna feel safe because it's the norm. You know what I'm saying? The norm is a mask. Your norm is a mask. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I was just saying, before you walked out, I was just saying how our mask
Something like we use it to protect us.
Yeah, these are the causes of our sufferings, you know what I'm saying, and how to be in the world but not of it, and what that really means. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, cause
I like how you said something. You said something like that earlier too.
Hell yeah.
I was gonna mention that. So I was gonna say I like that you mentioned that, because we all hear that growing up, in the world, not of it. A lot of us heard that in the church or from your parents or something, which are probably Christians and stuff. We heard that, but you were speaking on the value of going through shit, and how you're gonna deal with shit, and that's where the gold come from, versus the in the world, not of it. It did help a lot, but it often made a lot of us feel like we was just above any of the shit that you gotta go through, or if you is going through, you just try to avoid even dealing with the feelings that you having from it, and shit like that. So I thought that was important how you put that, because the journey is the whole process. Like, in the tarot, there's the 22 major arcana, and they lay out the journey of the soul pretty much, so it go from 1 to 21, and then you got the 0, which is the full card. And it's like, shit, I try to keep that mask on at all times. That's a mask that you can infinite gain from. Infinite gain. At any point in the journey, you get stuck, you can return to the full and begin right again building, because it's the student, the one who knows nothing, but is able to receive the divine blessing, because you are still so unaware that you can become aware. You know, like this is also like a polarity thing too, because motherfuckers could be like the fool in a bad way, quote unquote. You know, you could be like that nigga cutting up. You might be killing people. You might be XYZ. Like man, R.I.P. my boy Ryan. I learned a lot from him. You feel me? But like he was wilding. And it's crazy because you see things in these type of people, you know, like they be wilding, but they be the energy you get from them be so potent. It's like, damn, their energy just gonna do something. I was talking about, you might get an explosive reaction on certain triggers. Their whole existence is just a trigger, pretty much. You feel me? And it's like, that's a persona that get developed and fed into, you know, by the environment and just by the way you think. You know what I mean? Like, this shit really is like the ultimate source of power, though, because once you start to learn how to convince yourself of something, that's when shit become real. You know, it's like the identity that get formed does things. Like, it's this movie, and a lot of it play out into just the way that the mind works. You know, it's this movie. You ever seen Split?
I don't think I've seen it.
It's so Split. I'll give y'all the basis. This spoiler one. It's a movie, Split. Boom. So it's this dude, right? He go to see this therapist. Like that's what you seeing. And he got a bunch of personalities. So when she talks to him, she'll be like, "Hey, Kenneth," or "Am I speaking to Randy today?" Like, he got a bunch of personalities, and it's so severe. He believes it. So like, he'll come there as like it's a dude. He'll come there dressed like a woman and really think he is whatever. You feel me? That's how they portray the person. He'll come as this sophisticated dude with a tuxedo on. He come in there as some artistic nigga with looking like a homeless person. He really become it though. But as you watch the movie, you just like, this nigga crazy as hell. But damn, he really do. Then this nigga go to a grocery store and kidnap these little girls. One of his personalities is a kidnapper. The other ones is nice and do beautiful. This personality is Tim, and he a kidnapper, nigga. So he go and he chloroform these 3 girls, kidnap them, take them back to his place. Then the person who come in and talk to him, but it's like now he a nun. He talking to them like, take off those clothes. You must wash yourselves. You're filthy. Like, then he come in again as a kid. It's like a 40-year-old nigga. He come in again as a 6-year-old. He wearing like a kid jacket and shit. Crazy as hell, right? The movie keep going. The girls, boom, escape kind of, but before they could escape, his ultimate form come out, the thing that all of these, so apparently he got a community of people in his head, and the being that they worship is his one truest, like, ideal form, which he calls the beast. And the beast is 10 feet tall and can climb on walls and eats people, and he's just a beast. Why this nigga turned into the beast? Like that, before the girls could escape, this nigga took the person, but he don't just switch into the beast like he switched into all these other ones. It take like a special, that's why they kidnapping girls, because you gotta do a sacrifice. Look at the symbolism. You gotta do some kind of sacrifice, and they gotta be a virgin of a, you know, you gotta have the right elements to summon the beast. And then when you do, then he can go into that mindset. And it's literally just human shit, nothing supernatural, nothing happening. And the therapist lady, she actually was working with him because he was like her case study. She was presenting some shit to basically like this, I forgot what, but she was presenting her findings from studying this nigga. Like, I really think people, you know, this could like help heal people, boom, boom, we could figure out the capabilities of the mind. Like, he really believes he's these people, and they looking at her like, is you crazy? Like, of course he do, he crazy. Like, you crazy too for thinking there's anything there. She was right. It was more true than anybody could ever see. And he ended up eating one of the girls, you feel me? Boom, he like killed one of them, then I think he ate the other one's like stomach out. That's how they found him. One of them was escaping. She escaped to under the ground from where they was being held or something. So now she in like some sewers or something. She running through the tunnels. This nigga climbing on the ceiling, running after her. Like, this just a human. It don't do nothing to him except make him look like veins all popping out. He just look like angry as hell, and he climbing and shit. And it's like, when we find her, right, she ended up finding a shotgun somehow. You know how white girls be in the movies. She find a shotgun. She end up behind this space he can't get into, but he's still trying to run up at her. And he pulled a thing and he pulled these metal bars apart. It's just a man, mind you, who was crazy as hell. This was the movie portraying, of course. But look what it's telling you, right? Man, she up that bitch, pop, pop, boom, right in his chest. He dead, right? Shotgun, point blank range. Of course he not dead. That nigga, he lived and he ate it and he like started healing. He developed a superhuman healing factor because in his mind, he the beast. Now this movie came out like 2015 or something. This is an old ass movie. But like, look at what it's telling you though. You know, the personas became so strong, they became real to the point where the person no longer had control of himself for real. There was one main original personality that they always recognized as like the real him. And they treated it almost like these were all visitors in his body or type shit. Like they called it having the light. Anytime one of them was actively controlling his body, they called it, at that time they had the light. And then when the light shifted to someone else, he was switching to that version of himself. And it was crazy because it was just, the way they portrayed it was so wild, bro. Like, and I feel like to me, that shit really just meant you are what you think you are. You know what I'm saying? It show you how deep it can get. Some people think they just, boom, you just, you know, you do X, Y, Z and that's what you do and it's boom. But you tell yourself what you are and you believe yourself what you are type shit. And it sounds all cool and mystical. Like, okay, so I just gotta, and then you be like, nah, but you gotta be more for real than that. It's like, oh, okay, so I'm a journalist. It's like, nah, bro, y'all missing the point. You wanna believe some cute TikTok, you feel me? You just do this and that and you just breathe a couple times. It's like, bro, lock in first of all. Dedicate, give yourself to becoming who you really are type shit. And that's what be like, I think holding people back is getting drawn into paradigms, like maybe ways, like you were speaking on like ways you grew up and shit. You ain't say exactly that, but just the shit you come to learn. Now it's your normal. That's just who you are type shit. You think, oh, well, that's what I do. I couldn't do something outside of that. That ain't me. But like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta learn to realize when spirit is talking to you. Because the more noise, the more you reduce the noise, the more you can receive the signal. There's so much noise, but then you gotta boom, you be like, boom, 99.10, 106.1, 101, boom, 7101. You gotta tune it and get the signal you looking for, because it's there. You just have to receive it. You have it. Like I have some motherfucking candy, but you gotta eat. You gotta receive it though. The receiving, the tuning of the signal is the consuming, is the happening part. Once again, we're not talking about how to, you know, just boom, I did magic and made some lightning appear, and they're like, who cares? What is this? What does this mean? What are they trying to attempt to tell me? What is trying to be communicated to me right now? Because should be talking to you, but we don't be listening.
I wanted to add something too, if you
don't mind. Let me say this real quick. We don't be listening, and you gotta learn to peep, because when the time passed, then it shift the timeline, and now you gotta, it's gonna come back, you never lose it, but you don't know when that shit coming back, and the time is now, nigga. Like the time is right now. You feel me? So, no, but for sure.
No, that's real, now. That's real. I was just gonna say, trying to just piggybacking a little bit off of what you were saying, is that I think a lot of times, sometimes people get stifled in identifying with like the flashy parts or just the comfortable parts of being in this shit, you know what I'm saying? Or just learning something new or self-development, you know, whatever you want to call it, is like, you know, like especially in the spiritual so-called, you know, amongst people who are embracing themselves in the spiritual sense, so to speak. A lot of them like to endow themselves with certain titles or just certain like labels of themselves, and they kind of let it be all that is, you know what I'm saying? And if you, they like to basically make that their whole identification, their whole shit, their whole identity, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, all right, you're only, you're missing the point, you're missing the whole point, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you don't have to like act as if you're not that, you know what I'm saying? As if you're not, you know, I don't even know what people call themselves, God, segment, whatever names do. I don't know. I don't really pay attention, but whatever names that people like to endow themselves with, or just concepts, even, you know what I'm saying, that people like to endow themselves with, is like, all right, you have to know them for what they are and get the full understanding of what they are, you know what I'm saying, before you really identify with something. Really shouldn't I identify with nothing, you know what I'm saying? As deep as I am to any book or any concept, I'm not super identified with it, and I'm only saying that to say is like, as much as I'm gonna study it and believe it, if there's an opposing concept, an opposing idea, opposing, opinion per se, you don't have to let that affect you. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Shit real.
What was I saying now? Shit.
Let's see if we catch it. No. Some real shit. That boy talking some real.
But yeah, just shit. One thing I'll say too, and I'll let you, get back to what you were saying, is that there are we've made many masks of God, you know what I'm saying, per se. And even like I was saying earlier when you was out, is that even to me, in my opinion, the term God is like a mask for something more ultimately unnameable, you know what I'm saying? And I think these things are where we kind of like, it's what makes being amongst each other kind of harder than it needs to be, you know what I'm saying? Because, and this is something that I've become to realize and accept more and more as I mature, you know what I'm saying, is that, and this is another thing, I'm going kind of all over the place, but one thing that stood out to me in this spiritual journey from this book I read, the New Earth by Eckhart Tolle, I reference it again, is that he was saying that your level of spirituality or your level of consciousness isn't so much about what you believe, but more so about your awareness of self, or just awareness in general, you know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that to say, it's like, it's not so much about the ideas you study and the things you come to know, as much as it is about knowing what's all under that, the real essence behind all those things. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'll just wrap it up with that. You know what I'm saying? Just knowing that while all these things exist and they all play their part, you know what I'm saying, there's an underlying essence that has a correspondence that ties all these things in as one whole, you know what I'm saying? And being on either side of a thing or attached to a certain thing is where the mass start to develop, and hence the suffering, and hence the unnecessary things that happen all the time. These are how these things happen or formulate, because we become so we rely so heavily on these ideas, or as being our norm, and we rely on our norm. We're so attached to our norm. I think that's the real thing, is that we are so attached to
the change.
You know what I'm saying? It's like whatever
change hurt. It
hurts.
It's different though, and that's what throw us off.
Exactly. No, you're exactly right. If the growing pains, you know what I'm saying, that's literally a biological thing too. It's like sometimes it literally hurts, in your body when you're physically growing, and that's also a ode to what happens psychologically too. It's like it hurts when you're becoming new and you're embracing new concepts, especially when that means you have to give up certain things. You know what I'm saying? Just like when a baby has to give up playing time to go eat or to go to sleep. It's like the playing time is just as natural as the going to sleep. Just like the good times in your life is just as natural as the bad times, so to speak, you know. And it's like if you know that, you don't get as swayed by the good or the bad things, you know what I'm saying? And the importance in that is now you actually can cultivate peace and real peace, you know what I'm saying?
And peace is the shit.
You know what I'm saying? It's the shit because it's like I'm not relying on any certain thing to happen. Now that don't mean I'm gonna sit up here and be a couch potato. I'm gonna still use my will and my energy as a human being to do what I need to do, but I'm not broken down by every experience that I'm having. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times that's what we experience is that every little thing is swaying us, especially if we feel like it's not going our way. You know what I'm saying? And what's going on? What does it even mean to go our way? You know what I mean? Like to have control. If everything was how you had, like you exactly wanted it to be, first of all, you would be hella bored. You know what I'm saying? But then that's kind of tyrannical. If everybody had exact say so over every absolute thing, just how they seen it in the moment, the world will probably even be more fucked up than it is. You know what I'm saying? And it's already it's already cooked in a lot of ways, and from a certain perspective. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. The all in all, it's really about finding the practicality in being in the world and not of it, and really understanding on a simple level what that means. You know what I mean? It's like you don't have to downplay, because a lot of times I think people think like spirituality is like escapism. You know what I'm saying? Or it's like you're not really embracing reality, and it's like no, I'm embracing the total aspect of reality, and actually, you know what I'm saying? And I'm bringing the circle together instead of dealing with it in just only in these certain regards. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that's a really healing thing to do, because now I can live from a deeper place, and now that helps me even when I'm amongst people and I'm out in the world, and somebody might do something that I don't agree with. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't have to distort my worldview or change my level of love that I have for myself or for that person or for life itself. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that these things are a part of life, you know what I'm saying? And because, oh, and this is something too, and I'm gonna wrap it up with this because I know I can start going on a bunch of tangents, but the whole thing about not being the shit about being your consciousness level not being based on what you believe, but your level of awareness. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, going back to that and what that really means is like, okay, you know, I don't have to identify with or make the totality of my being this little thing that I'm studying or this experience that I'm having. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to say that the experience is not happening or that you're not even coming into some real breakthroughs with your knowledge, but you're not, you know, making it a religion or a group per se, and you don't need to feel the sense to defend. You know what I'm saying? I think that's where shit gets tricky with a lot of people. They come into the knowledge or they come into a certain thing, you know what I'm saying, and now they have to defend it against another thing or another person when certain things happen, you know. And it's like if you get that sense, that's how you know a mass is either already formed or is forming, because ultimately the truth does not need any defense. You know what I'm saying? The truth is the truth, no matter what people are doing or not doing. You know what I'm saying? And there's peace in knowing that, and peace in, you know, living from that place. You don't have to go out and force yourself on other people or feel like you need to turn up your nose at every person who is having an opposing, you know, reaction, or just something that you're doing something that you don't necessarily agree with, you know, and to understand that everybody has a mask and everybody has, you know, all these things that we are dealing with in society and becoming attached to are just masks, you know, and underneath that are the real humans, are the real beings, are the real essence, you know what I'm saying? And when we cut through all these things that society has assigned to us and that we assign to ourselves, um, we are able to live from a much deeper place. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's what it's really about in all of this, you know what I'm saying, is the balance and all of that. Is that knowing that I'm having this personal experience, but my essence is this objective total experience. And living, try to bring that knowing to a conscious level as much as you can on a practical level.
Mm-hmm. Gotta make it make sense, man. God, bro.
Yeah, man.
I feel like that's really it, man. It's like, how do you put the pieces together? It should be like you ever been in a situation where shit just makes sense, but you like, damn, it ain't making sense to nobody else. Why this shit don't make sense to nobody else? Like, what the fuck, you know? So in those times, it can be jarring because a lot of the ones who are supposed to be awakened or enlightened, or the light beings who are here, or the whatever you want to call them, a lot of them get thrown off the path because of distraction. You know what I mean? And like in those situations where you feel like you might be the only one, the whole system is built to discourage that. They want you to feel like you need to form into the shape of what is being formed, what they're trying to form you into. You know, that ain't it. That ain't it. And if you take a look, like you even just pause and look at, man, what is they even trying to build me into? It's just another, of course, you hear shit about this all the time, cog in the machine, you know, another tile in the wall, whatever. Like that's it. That's all they want you to be. No individuality. They don't want people who speak up on stuff. They hate people who ask questions. And this is for a reason. You know, the whole thing with the police so crazy. I remember I was deep off into that. I was wearing that identity of like, oh, I'm this or I'm that, you know, and I'm thinking I could like get to this point where the police just can't touch me. I'm untouchable. And bro, it's like you were saying, that's part of the escapism side of it, is where people start to feel like, oh man, I got, you know what I mean? I got my way out. I got my way to avoid dealing with what is. You know what I'm saying? You can't avoid the shit. What you can do though is use what you have, you know? And one thing that we have that I feel like we don't use is our magic. It's our abilities, our power, you know? And it ain't about, oh, I'm gonna curse some, but I encourage everybody, curse that shit. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers, you think your name been in motherfuckers' mouth? Curse your name. Now if a motherfucker say my name without the frequency of love behind it, you know, some shit, you feel like some shit going, curse that shit. Start hexing shit. We ain't hexing enough shit, nigga. Curse some shit, nigga. Put some energy in create an entity and put that on some shit. If anybody fuck with this or that, then this outcome happens. And it don't gotta be somebody dying. Everybody thinks it's about some nigga. Yeah. You could be like, this nigga gonna get the shits. Every time he gonna shit himself. Every time he think he finna blah blah blah. And then the nigga somewhere shitting himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna tell a real story here. This was actually, I don't remember how old I was when I heard this, young for sure. They said, I ain't gonna say who, but a family member back in the day, this is obviously before I was born, this is way back. This is like to the greats type shit, but no great, just one great. In that area of family, adult and teenagers, one of them had a boyfriend who was trying to leave or something. I forgot why. All I know is this. They told the nigga, if you leave this city, you will never leave this city. You will never leave South Bend. And if you do leave, you know what I'm saying, yeah, you ain't gonna be living no more type shit. The nigga left the city and the next day was pissing blood. Like was having crazy shit happening to him. Came back to town, died in South Bend. You know, because he had left. And there's some shit I heard back in the day. I'm like, what do that even mean? Why they do that to him? But what it's telling you is these things happen. Ain't nobody make that story up. I would defend people. She had him pissing blood. No, this was a real story. Yo, great, blah, blah, blah. Nigga, yeah, like, come on. And what do that mean? So you supposed to curse people who fuck with you? What is it? No, it's like Uncle Ben say, nigga, in fucking Spider-Man, with great power, great responsibility. The responsibility is to yourself. Because they try to trick you into thinking, man, you gotta save everybody. That's the Jesus complex. That's the Christ mask they want you to wear. Or if you remove the mask of Christ that they put on him, you see yourself. So if you is the true Christ, why is they putting a mask on him? It's just what I just said. They want to hide you from yourself. That's what it's all about. They want you to hide yourself from yourself and participate in your destruction, in your consecration. This is what they whole shit is. These niggas got one move: trick and deceive, distraction, and then they run off and do some more bullshit. Because if you ever come face to face with it, it is what it is. It's like when fire meet anything that can catch fire. It just is what it is. That's just it, you know. And they want you to hide from that fact of yourself. That's why it's important to stay aware of yourself and where you at emotionally, mentally, physically. You know, start to become aware of the four worlds and beyond, and plan for beyond, man. Because bro was just saying, man, that shit is real, man. Like the whole thing got to come together, and it start from picking pieces apart, nigga. You got to see what's going on with, like, all right. So like for example, you want to do something. Why do you want to do that? You know, like some motherfuckers don't know how to sit still. Some motherfuckers don't know how to go out. You know, everybody got a piece to balance. What piece do you have, and what balancing is needed? You know, you trying to do some self work. So you trying to read Atomic Habits. All that shit say is, if I do this enough, this will be the outcome. And it's facts. It's facts. But people can sell, you know, best-selling books based on that idea, because people's minds is so all over the place that any kind of structure, anything that just has a shape, anything that got some corners and it's even, and your mind go, yes, that's what I'm needing. I want form, but instead it's just a bunch of potential. And you, every now and then, you start and you a square. Every now and then you take a form and you be like, look, I know I can take forms because I be doing it. But then you gotta check yourself and be like, this the only form I normally be though. Why is this always the form I always revert back to? If I can take all these forms, what is the purpose of this form? And by form, you gotta think of it as activity. What is this? What am I occupying my time doing? What is my mind focused on? You know, because bro, you were saying it earlier, like your thoughts and emotions, these are the things that lead to becoming your, like, I forgot how you said it, but your struggle or your pain or your
attachments.
Man, what was you said a word so good, but the shit you go through, that your struggle, or I forget, but that's what all your beliefs end up becoming. Your beliefs are used to control you, you know. And it sounds so crazy because it's like, man, like we just got so much to dig into, man. Because I be talking about concepts, and I be wondering who's receiving this, and I be hoping you aware of certain information as far as who you are, what you are, when you are, why you are, all that. You know what I'm saying? What is you? You know, all that. Man, sometimes we be, you know what I'm saying, talking about all kind of shit, but it's important that you understand who you are. And we'll repeat some of these ideas from time to time. Like, for me, somebody who put it to me crazy was KRS with the Rockstar video. You know, how the nigga, he said, like, we could do it right now. He picked up a Rockstar can. He said, we all finna say something. He holding the can of the energy drink Rockstar. He said, we all finna say Rockstar, okay? But nobody say it. The way I'm saying, don't say it. Mouth closed, okay? And on 3, we say rock star. 1, 2, 3. Who said rock star? Everybody hand went up. Okay, how come nobody said anything? How did you say, well, you said nothing. How did you say it without saying? The point he's making is 4th dimension and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
And how you exist beyond this shit that we think is us. How bro was talking about. You born into the entrapment, into the prison, and then you assigned all of these numbers and ideas and about what, who, and what you are. And you were kind of forced to be that. But if you just pause and just be like, let me, boom. Who said that? He asking. Now, if you just said that in your head, who said it? Oh, well, I said it. Yeah, okay, but who said it though? Don't say your mind said it. Who said that? And then you're forced to think of, damn, well, that's me. That's me. Wait, if that's me, then what is this me? What the fuck? What's going on? He breaking it down. I'm sitting there like, bro, my mind is being fucked up in the best way,
bro.
And it's like, yo, this makes sense. It made so many things make sense. And if this type of information do something for you as you hearing this, if you like, oh shit, like something just unlocked, that's a great sign. That's a great sign that you should continue doing the work, family, and that you engage yourself, because so much of the world is meant to engage you in like disengagement, more so make you disengage from and just participate in the circuit of the little whatever loop they got set out, whatever Aurora Boreas they got set out for your ass. Because that's all this shit is, a never-ending loop. Unless you break the cycle,
that's a fact.
Which is back to taking control of your power. And niggas is skipping steps. Yeah. I'm sick of you niggas, bro. Like, but at the same time, thankfully, I don't have to harbor none of that shit. Yeah. As soon as I'm sick of you niggas, I'm past. I don't give a fuck. But it's fucked up with what's going on now with the music industry. They got rappers now openly coming out as like Ifa and different practitioners of different religions and shit. And so they in the videos looking like they doing some shit. And what's happening? The kids, just like they was copying drug dealers, now they finna be copying spiritual so-called shit, thinking they doing something. But y'all going straight to the end of the book. You missed the whole book. You missed the point. You were supposed to develop this and build this so that you have listen, if I'm finna go extract snake venom, I'm finna learn all about snakes, nigga, and how they could harm you. What is the proper way to, so I don't motherfucking get bit and die, nigga, right? On one side of it, and it's also awesome that they're learning about this different shit, because when we was kids, most people was like, shit, anything but Christianity is the devil. But these kids now, they on some just other shit. I swear. They don't give a fuck and they don't know shit, but they want to know something about power though. And like, it's crazy when you just look at it like, but overall though, I think it's gonna be more so harmful because you're skipping the principles that establish you interacting with those like unseen parts of yourself, because that's all any of this shit really is. Anybody talking about spirits or deities or that, they don't know what the fuck they talking about. It's all you. It's all you. You know what I'm saying? When you start to see yourself and others, that's a good sign that you becoming enlightened. Which just listen to the word lighter. You're releasing shit, and the more shit you shed, the more shit you release, the lighter you feel, the lighter you get. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what happened. And like the lighter you get weight wise type shit, obviously not color and shit, but like, you know what I'm saying? Some people do start to glow though. You see some people and this motherfucker literally glowing, he the light as it get. Nigga black as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like shit, you never can what's it called, lock it into one place. But that's what I'm talking about. Use your powers, you know what I'm saying? Start cursing shit. Start putting curses on shit, nigga. What happened to, ancient cursed objects? In 100 years, they ain't finna have no more cursed objects of ours to pick up, to fuck their whole shit up. You know what I'm saying? Half of the shit going on today, because they all in motherfucking Nefertiti tombs and shit, and King Tut tombs, and, Rans, they digging through mummies and shit. Y'all fucking with sacred artifacts that's been cursed, nigga. You done fucked your whole bloodline up. Motherfucker hearing about, they some girl found a doll and some spirit came in. These is cursed objects. You fucking with real spirits, nigga, that said, man, this is my doll, Susie, and Susie will forever be protected and have a giant monster that protect her. You don't know what you be fucking with, bro. You know what I'm saying? But the point is to learn and to understand you control the shit. They want you to be afraid. How I was describing that first with the religion shit, like they really want you to feel like, oh no, I can't. I don't want to learn about none of that. They want you to do the side eye when you hear about what he fucking with. Yeah, because you don't understand it's our shit, and by that I mean the same way I got a motherfucking PlayStation controller. What is this called? Technology, right? Guess what? All that spiritual, summoning shit. Guess what all that is? Ancient nigga technology. It's just technology. It's just understanding how to pull the forces you can't see together for desired outcomes. Because all anything is a mix of four elements with a hidden fifth element, which is the life force that bring everything. The ether, you know what I'm saying? It's referred to as all kind of shit. Chi, prana. Anything that you can't see that is power in something. It even got to the point, bro. I know you've been seeing these niggas online, like showing off the powers. You know what I'm saying? I think you was telling me about the time you felt like you was doing it yourself too, or something with the wind or something. Like niggas got abilities, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's becoming more and more apparent how like you can bend the reality to your will and shit. But it take a consistent stream of consciousness, and that's what niggas is lacking. You know,
that's real.
That ADHD shit, niggas wear that mask all the time. I got ADHD, which we all kind of do in a sense, but it's really just a overactive type of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even when I think back to like Egypt and the priests of Anu and shit like that, them niggas would literally wear masks in the ritual. They would wear like some animal head on the ritual during the ritual to act out this shit, to evoke the essence of not just this creature, but what do this spirit of this creature represent? What kind of energies come with that? And it's like, this shit looks so funny in movies and shit like that because you gotta understand it's been propagated to you to look that way so that you do not engage it. Let's say somebody had $1 million and they hid that shit, but they had to hide to hide it. They didn't have nowhere to hide, so they did something to try to make it look as unappealing as possible to go in that area. They damn near smothered shit all over the area, and you can't see the $1 million back there. But it's there though, and if you just so happen to go into the area, which why would anybody do that? Who want to dig through all this for what? You digging through trash, you might get a heroin needle in your arm from a home. You don't know, this shit dangerous. Why would any? Because you have to. And by the time you go through it, you're like, oh shit, I'm so glad I did this. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like bro was talking about, it allows for peace to exist. You need room for peace to exist. And to do that, you gotta clear out your fucking mind full of all the shit you've been programmed with. Since you was, even before you even understood what was happening, you was being programmed. Bro, like I ain't finna do it, but no, I'm gonna do it, man. Some of you people are just atrocious, bro. Like, this is definitely my judgmental bag, and rightfully so. Mama's twerking, one snap, next snap, you with your baby. And you posting your baby with their shirt off and shit. Y'all motherfuckers need to, but it just go to show, a lot of people are like here to perpetuate the system that is. It's not like, you can't even get too mad because you don't know what she been through. You don't know if this motherfucker been molested. You don't know if she just ain't never had no guidance. And that's how most people is, man. Out here just living. But I know one thing. I know what a lady is. I know what a man is. You know what I'm saying? And it's fucked up because this shit get real twisted. People try to live it out like, you know, like, I ain't gonna hold you like, at my, man, bro. Basically, I've seen it in the real world where I've come face to face with like, in a work setting where they trying to tell me, refer to this person as he, but it's a girl. It's a girl. You know, it's like, that's not that's not what that is. But it's crazy because it done made its way into so-called, you know, workplaces and shit like that, to where they try to make you respect it. And what if I don't? What if I, you know, I try to always just call that person by their name and try to just keep it that, because it's cool and there's nothing against nobody. Like, live your life, man, for real. Like, I'm 100% that. Live your life to what makes sense for you, man. But once you get to trying to impede your life upon just how I live mine, that don't really make sense. I ain't hurting you by not calling you what you're not. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that shit get crazy though.
No, for real, bro. Yeah, that's the potential danger of all this shit. It get real murky, you know what I'm saying? Because then people can especially when people start to love their mask, now you can kind of like do things with it, you know what I'm saying? Manipulate it, you know what I'm saying, to a certain degree. And it's like you form a whole narrative around it that hardens that thing. Now you really truly believe that's what you are, you know what I'm saying? And once you believe it, motherfucker can't tell you nothing. Even if they holding the most obvious truth, most clearest mirror to you, up right directly to your face, you gonna deny that shit with all your heart. You know what I'm saying? Because what you believe is what you believe, and that's what you're attached to. You know what I'm saying? And that's the mask. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, man, being able to know, that's the importance of knowing your essence. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times I like to say that I'm not like a who, but a what. You know what I'm saying? Because the who is more of a role and assigned behaviors, and that is part of the human experience. But as far as the essence, it's a what. You know what I'm saying? It's not a who. You know what I'm saying? Who is a specific person, and it's not these other things. You know what I'm saying? But what? It's more of a totality type of thing. You know what I'm saying? And to sum all that shit up, man, that's what we are in our essence, man. It's the total package, not just this box that we come in. You know what I'm saying? So being able to practically live from that place makes all the difference. You know what I'm saying? And not that it's just easy. It's hard. It's a challenge, even for people experienced in the journey. You know what I'm saying? But it definitely does become easier once if you're sincere about it and you're really doing the work to cut through all these things, all these things. And what are the things,
And when you talk about cut through all these things, it's almost like releasing yourself from something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think people ever get like trapped in the image they create for themselves?
Absolutely.
So tell us about that, how that play out.
I think people definitely get trapped in the image they form for themselves, because you say, just like in a painting or in a certain picture, you know what I'm saying, these certain things become a part of this whole picture, this whole narrative, you know what I'm saying? And this boils down to your reality. And excuse me, can you ask me that question one more time before I get to
what do you ever feel like people get trapped by their image?
Yeah. So you mean like they self-image type shit? Is that
yeah, like by the who they think they are, the image they have of themselves, it trapped them in some senses.
Okay, yeah. I do think they do, and I think this is how it happens. I think people get trapped in the image they have of themselves by not inquiring into the deeper nature of what the norm they have around them to be. You know what I'm saying?
So like just accepting things as they are and not questioning
at all. You know what I'm saying? This is the complete nature. How exactly as they're presented it to me is exactly what it is, and it can't be much more than that, if at all. You know what I'm saying? And I think, like, I keep going back to the word attachment because I think that's such a huge concept in this, because it's like, I don't want people to get it misconstrued. You don't want to like pretend that you're not going through a certain thing or you're not having these experiences. But what it's really about is that how you become trapped is that you act as if these things are the complete thing. You know what I'm saying? So the image you have of yourself, the experiences you have that you formulated into being you, is just a piece of a whole puzzle. You know what I'm saying? And just like, so say I was to take a piece of a puzzle and hold it in my hand. The puzzle is very real. The piece is very real. I can see it in my hand. I can look at it. I can turn it around. But there's a whole puzzle over here that I'm not necessarily acknowledging. You know what I'm saying? And me being so focused on this one piece, is causing a lot of unnecessary friction, a lot of negative paradoxes in my life because I'm cut off just only in my own head, illusionarily, from this whole totality over here. You know what I'm saying? And soon as I start to get closer over here to this puzzle, I find that hey, it's a slot right here that I fit in perfectly to. And then as soon as I get into that slot, I can feel the whole sense of the whole puzzle. I can have the awareness of the whole puzzle versus having just the very secluded awareness of this one piece. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the real importance of all this whole topic at hand is that once you learn how to practically attach yourself to this whole puzzle while also knowing that you are a piece, you get to actually hold space for having that real awareness of being the whole puzzle.
It does something.
You know?
There's like something that occurs. What is that? Once you find that piece, boom, you plugged in now. You done found that in the awareness. It like your awareness grows and you receive something else like on top of the piece. It's like a knowing, right?
Absolutely. It's like the breaking down. It's like, okay, you know how on news, like the news, they got the backdrop of like a city, or how motherfuckers you'll be watching a movie and somebody will break through the screen, like the real actual screen. You know what I'm saying? What's the screen in our lives is the experiences that we have. You know what I'm saying? It's all a screen. You know what I'm saying? And not to say that we're not actually sitting down and watching the movie, because we are. You know what I'm saying? It's engaging. It's all the things that it is, rightfully so. But what you got to know is that I kind of got off of what I was really trying to bring with that. But basically, what I'm trying to say is this: it's a green screen. You know what I'm saying? These experiences that you have. You know what I'm saying? The fact your experience as a piece in this puzzle is a green screen. You know what I'm saying? And the real life, so to speak, versus the movie, and it would be knowing your archetypal self, as they call it in that book, Ego and Archetype. You know what I'm saying? And the archetypal self is that place that you can live from once your ego is actually broken down, you know what I'm saying, or just not in the driver's seat, because you're not going to get rid of it, you know what I'm saying, but it's not in the driver's seat of your life no more, you know what I'm saying. You know that awareness is now driving this car because I know that awareness is really the parent of the ego and the parent of my existence, you know what I'm saying, or my perceived existence, you know. And yeah, I kind of got off where I was going with that, but yeah, you know, just knowing that excuse me, I compare it to this, like you driving a car, you know what I'm saying, you take care of the car, you in the car, you cleaning it out, you do all the things you do maintenance wise and such, you know what I'm saying, but eventually the car breaks down, you know what I'm saying, it gets slower no matter what, you know what I'm saying, no matter how much you upkeep it, as long as you driving that motherfucker, there's gonna be some wear and tear, you know what I'm saying. So you have to know that, you know what I'm saying, and you don't get upset or fret and break down when the car breaks down. You know that it's a part of life, you know what I'm saying, you know that you are not this car. It was in your possession, but it's not you, you know what I'm saying. And so when it goes, you know what I'm saying. You don't go, but it goes, and everything else in your life can circulate in that way, you know what I'm saying. It's like all these things, they're here and they go, but what stays and what will always remain is the total me, you know what I'm saying, the real me, you know what I'm saying. And that's not necessarily the Malik Barnett Tyler, just the personality, you know what I'm saying? That's a part of it, but that's a fragment of it, you know what I'm saying? It's a totality under that you want to try to bring up to your consciousness as much as you can and live from that place, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what the journey is really about in my eyes. You know
That's what they all be talking about. And the alchemists talk about extracting, turning lead to gold, you know, the whole process of negrito, albedo, whatever, citronito or whatever, and then negrito, albedo, and then the red, the rubido, from the black to the white to the red, you know, and the red was once you reach wholeness or oneness or whatever, you know, and that's what it's all talking about. Like all these different spiritual systems are describing the same thing, which was one of the first things that really like stood out to me as a signal. You feel me? Because I might have mentioned to you before how I would notice little things, but then once I started looking into actually studying the other shit, like this is pretty much the same story. Especially when they talk about the reconnecting, like Osiris, you know, he was separated. It literally was separated into. They cut him up in a bunch of pieces. It's a literal story. Yeah. They cut him up, and they separate him all over the planet. And the whole point of the story was reassemblage, becoming one again, and this happened through love. Isis, his wife, sister, wife. You know how the Egypt shit was, but that's all symbolic. We look at it. Oh, that was his sister and his wife. What the fuck? Which they was on some wild shit at one point as well in the actual society, but that don't change the meaning of the stories. We gotta stop doing that. We gotta stop associating the humans with the shit that came from them. You know what I'm saying? In certain situations. A lot of times it do make sense to do that. Remember, everything is dual. If one thing is true, the opposite is automatically true. You know what I'm saying? If I'm a real nigga, I'm a fake nigga. That's facts. That's facts. I come in contact with the right motherfucker. I'm haha, yeah, man. Yeah, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to disturb their frequency. It's not disturbing me to just go ahead and, yeah, man, yep. Now, if a motherfucker try something the right way, that can bring about other things. But we don't need to get into that because what's the point? You know what I mean? A lot of times, that someone trying to engage you, and let's say someone wasn't trying to engage you in violence. I'm not telling anyone not to defend themselves, but a lot of time there's ways to diffuse things without having to seem so tough or having to, you know, overpower a motherfucker. Now, if it comes to that, it is what it is. Motherfucker asking for that in your campaign, and they're gonna get elected. You feel me? But when it comes to just understanding who you are and moving in that frequency, bro, that's the ultimate. And that's what these motherfuckers was talking about with these stories, is learning your true self. And it sounds so good, the true self, the divine self, the real self, the one self. What is this self, everything describing, and why does it matter so much? Is it just to feel good? Because the truth of the matter is, you don't belong here. And if you hearing this and you like, I do belong here, more power to you, man. But if you hearing me and you understand what I'm saying, then that's what we talking about. You know, you don't belong here forever. The time that you do spend here is part of your journey. And it's called a journey because it's a long motherfucker. You got some shit to do. You know? Most people got shit to do. Some people journeys are shorter than others. It's still like, bro, sorry, everything is relative. Motherfucker might only be here 16 years. He was the craziest motherfucker, but he did all kind of shit. He influenced people. He boom, you know what I'm saying? It's like a Tupac. He told you, I might not be the one, but I'm going to inspire, I'm going to light the flame in the mind of the one who do bring the change, you know? And even though, of course, a CIA or whatever can't change what the message brought, even if the nigga was an agent or whatever, can't change what the message did. And that's what we need to focus more on. We spend too much time trying to vilify, tear down people, mainly our own people, sadly, which a lot of times may need addressing. A lot of times the shit do need to be addressed because it's been hidden for so long. How many of us got families that done got all kind of fucked up shit? Your sister, your auntie, is your cousin, is your brother's mom, is the what? Wait, what? And we so used to it because that's big cuz, but that's really auntie. That's really auntie, low key. But we don't say that because if we say that, then you know, Big Mama gonna hear it and she gonna be mad because it's gonna remind her about what old boy was doing and now no. So that's just big cuz we ain't gonna you know, and then we wear the mask of, you know, the innocent ones who don't know nothing about that, but we know all about it. We know all about it since we was kids. And that's what you got to understand. The kids are learning younger and younger. They starting to, we used to be, had to be at least 4 before we was like, okay, I know what that, these little niggas is like 1, not understanding shit, playing with phones and shit. The learning is so, has gotten so aggressive now. But what are they learning? You know, they downloading a social media technocracy age. I'm gonna keep saying that because we really moving into the AI world. Just think of the way industry work. And I know this one about the mask and shit, but I feel all this shit pertain to each other low key. You know, like, just thinking about the industry and how motherfucking business and shit get conducted, bro. Like how, you know, how they try to like sell things. Like market used to be, I got you know, I got something and I'm gonna trade it to you in equal value for something else. You might give me 2 eggs for this pencil. You feel me? You might give me a chicken for, boom, we trading. It's a trade and barter system. Everything balanced out and equal. Now you give me some paper shit, motherfuckers printing. What is this? It's a tool in a system that has been perpetrated for so long. We think it's real. The United States corporation is what we live in. It's not a country. It's not a country. And even if you start to dive into what XYZ mean, they're literally just telling you this, you're not a person. You people wonder why they don't have no rights, because you're not a person. What is a person? Someone born of their mother, the son of their mother, a Mason, a Freemason. That's a free person. But we in the hospitals telling motherfuckers we black and XYZ. If you look up and we just letting them document our child right into it, and really what other choice do we have? Because what you gonna do? Not document the nigga, and that make him so susceptible to so much other shit, and but then it could also make other options available. Don't nobody know what to do. Don't nobody know what to do, and niggas is confused about what's next, about like what's coming, so much so that they just avoid it entirely. You know what I mean? It's so important to understand what you are. And if you look up the word black in the Black's Law Dictionary, it tell you you are dead. Something without life. Just a vessel, just an empty vessel. Meaning you could do whatever you want with a black person, because a black person is not a person at all. You don't have any rights. You don't have any rights. So when you talk about, oh, the police are abusing our rights, no the fuck I'm on the police side. They're not abusing shit. Because this is what they are, and you have to understand what they are. It's not about color and race and shit, nigga. This shit is about who and what and everything that pertains to what you are, nigga. Because they know what you are, and they don't want you to ever understand what you are, because if you knew, you would stop acting like whatever the fuck you acting like right now, you know? And they don't want it to happen on a mass scale, because shit could really change like that. And when they do that, that's gonna fuck up a lot of money. Not that they scared to kill niggas, because they not scared to do that. They not scared to enact the martial law, which Trump and all that, like, you just pay attention, bro. That shit coming before you know it. There's already military occupations in, you feel me, motherfucking Indiana, nigga. Like, they got all kind of new shit. They built a new Amazon center. You seen, they got the approval from the data center, the AI data center in Michigan to send the water down here. Did you see that shit, bro? These niggas is gonna be sending it through the South Bend water plant. The you know, the AI center use all that water and shit. They gonna run they cleaning through our water plant. You know what I'm saying? This shit wild, nigga. This shit really crazy. But you start to peep, it's closer than you know it, and they want you to be afraid, but you obviously can't stop niggas. Niggas doing crack for 50 years and they still fine. On the streets. Just on the streets. Not to, you know, but crackhead be the most resilient motherfucker you ever seen.
What?
Nigga like an alien. You know, and it's like, this the type of shit you begin to understand. It's like, things are possible. What do I need to be possible? Because we like to think about shit. We like to focus on, like we were saying, what we want, what we think we need, X, Y, Z. It's like, all you really need to actually survive is food, a little bit of food, some water, and some shelter to protect yourself from the elements. That's it. You don't even need clothes. But we doing, look all this shit I got. Look all this, everything you see is some shit I done like purchased or came into some kind of ownership of, because we were taught to have things, you know? So since we have things, we've created these mentalities with them. If I have this, that means I'm this. We start to associate ourselves with these things. we wear the mask of Gucci frames. I got Gucci glasses. But then see, it also become a trick. Once again, I love the polarity talk. I love the polarity talk because you can use this same thing to program yourself positive.
I swear.
You ain't gotta be, oh, this nigga wear Gucci. He got some money and he bought some designer shit. Yeah, I did, cause that's the type of shit I be wearing.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how I'm coming. What you mean? Yeah, you don't wear that shit, and that's just fine. You got the money. I got the money. I ain't never needed no Gucci. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great, man. You know what I'm saying? Wear what you wear, love what you love, all that, swag it out. You feel me? But make it make sense for yourself. And that's one thing I did. Like, I had bought some Gucci frames actually when I got some bread, because I was like, shit, if I got some, just in my mind, the nigga wearing the Gucci frames, I'm like, shit, it's up, bro. Yeah. It's up. I'm him. Yeah. Like, can't nobody tell me shit. And low key, I never wear them. Just knowing I have them is enough to be like, oh, fuck these niggas up, man. Oh, fuck these niggas up right now. Don't matter, bro. What? Don't. He said, what? Hold on, I'm coming right back, man. No strap, just a Gucci clip. Keep them in the, yeah, bro. Like, because you got to learn how to put yourself in the mind state of how to trigger that. You getting triggered by the world, letting out all your frustrations and bullshit. How can you purposely trigger yourself? How can you purposely trigger yourself to be great? How can we purposely trigger ourselves to be great? And I just said it collectively now. Let's go back to individually. How does John trigger John to be greatness, John? Or whatever the fuck you want to be. You know, because it's so easy to trigger the bullshit. You want to be a junkie. You know how to trigger that. Just call boy, boom, and now yeah, there you go. But who do you call to trigger, your goals? Just to even start, because we always make it so big, like, oh man, I don't know how I'm gonna do that. It's like, we just gotta start somewhere, You gotta take the first step. And a lot of times, bro, I swear you said this, like, the change, it's like a lot of times we know the first step, we not gonna change nothing because we only fit into this. Yeah. John or whatever only fit into this. He don't know what's over here. And he don't really want to find out, but he swear to God he do, and he just want to change in his life, and he ready for something different. But then when the different come, you be like, man, fuck that, nigga. I'm a West Side real ass nigga from the way, nigga. And it's like, we gotta get past this, man. This shit we was taught growing up was propagated to. They sold us some shit that didn't even exist until we started acting like the shit they were portraying to us.
This shit is like the Truman Show.
Superfly, bro, nigga. And who know if we not really in the Truman Show, fucking around, because it's already been proven we in the Matrix. Y'all love to talk about scientists and how science is so, science hasn't proven. Well, guess what they have proven? They put this shit out. Go to the CIA website, nigga. They've been telling you this shit forever. They finally had to disclose it, and they doing up-to-date researches on how the nature of this reality is numerical. It's like a matrix. That everything has values, and boom. It's you in a matrix, nigga. Do that mean you in the movie The Matrix somewhere plugged up getting fed into a battery? Who knows? Who knows, man? But the point I be trying to make is, what do that mean to you? Knowing you in the matrix, do that do anything to you? Like, okay, so I've noticed things in my past that I don't want to be in my future. How can I shift the program that have been set for the path of this avatar? It's like a video game, nigga. You log on, boom, and now you motherfucking Batman. You Batman, bro. Present button. You're the person controlling Batman. Batman in the game don't know he being controlled. It seemed normal to him because that's what he do. He Batman. He slingshot up a building, jump off 10 times. Why'd he do it? Because he being controlled. Do it seem weird to him? Not in his world. He Batman, nigga. You're Batman, and you're being controlled by your higher self. But the trick is, they've cut off any idea of you having a higher self. They want you to think this is just you conducting all of this just based on life. And then because of that, there's so much room for it to be filled. They try to fill that shit with everything. Love Island, food, Instagram reels, porn, XYZ, clothes, anything that can hold your attention, they try to just flood it with you. Then they just start making up shit. They start making up more shit for you to care about. Oh, Floyd Mayweather versus Jake Paul, it's the new boxing. Like, to where you say, what? Why would they do? Yeah, let me spend some time focusing on that shit. Because, bro, that's what this whole thing about is to distract you from spending any time from saying, what the fuck is going on? And then letting that thought play out and figuring out what the fuck is going on. Because you start to see patterns. You start to see, wait a minute. And then once you figure out what the fuck been going on, you say, I'm pissed. And you try to tell people and nobody cares. And it's fucked up because it's a loop. Most people, that's where they get stuck at. Boom, it's a loop. But like the crazy part is you've already made the first step. Make the next step. The next step is honestly doing the work. Mm-hmm. Awareness is number one. Once you get aware of what's wrong with you, take the medicine. Mm-hmm. Okay, get the herb, do the research on what herbs help that, and make you a tea, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even just getting yourself in the mindset of it, I think is something I like to talk about. And that's why we kind of came up with this topic today, the mask and the mirror. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? The mirror, I haven't spoke much on that, but I think that's the observance of self, mm-hmm. you know, the observance of what mask you are. So we have kind of indirectly talked about it. Mm-hmm. But what mask is being worn, when you look in that mirror, what do you see? Mm-hmm. You see John, you know what I'm saying? You look in the mirror, you see yourself, you see Brittany, mm-hmm. like, what do you see? And like, be for real. Because one time I had a trip so crazy, bro. You ever looked in the mirror on mushrooms?
Sometimes, yeah.
What happened when you did that?
I don't know. Honestly, nothing too crazy for me. I just kind of like, I'll be like really like looking at myself kind of like more.
You almost noticing.
Like, it's like, I probably look crazy on the outside looking in because I'm just like.
It's almost like you get a hyper-focused zoom in view of like parts. It's like you just looking at just what you're noticing. Shit.
Like yeah, like way more acutely than you would if you was not on this shit, you know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, for sure, bro. And one thing too that I want to add while you was talking is that I think a positive way we can use these masks, because I know we've been talking about a lot about rising above them and shit like that, but I think a positive way we can use them for what they really are is to, for one, recognize that they are just those masks, but to also realize these masks can have a purpose in a way of symbolism, you know what I'm saying? So, and why I say that is these masks can serve as symbols. And that's essentially, in one way or another, that's what they are. A symbol is something that points to something else, you know, that's ultimately unknowable, you know what I'm saying? That's ultimately more mysterious than we as humans like to intellectualize it to be and analyze it to be, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like with a mask, you can use that as a symbol to speak to your essence, you know what I mean? So you might put a certain trinket, just how he was talking about with the goals, you know what I'm saying? Now, you can get them and you can wear them with pride, you know what I'm saying? But you're not wearing it as a cause I'm trying to be like a rap nigga, or I'm wearing it cause I feel better than another person. This is a symbol of my awareness of self and the value that it holds, you know what I'm saying? And this is a conscious way for me to be reminded either on a daily or often, you know, as to what that is, you know what I'm saying? This is just like the same way we have altars, you know what I'm saying, and certain things to keep us in a certain mind frame on a day-to-day, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's one way we can use these masks to help us and propel us into something better, you know what I'm saying? And the only way you can actually do that, though, is to know, for one, that it is a mask, and to know what that really means, meaning that it exists only in a certain fragmented way, and that it's not your total essence, you know what I'm saying? But what you can do is, just like you get in a certain car, like if I got kids, I might get a minivan, you know what I'm saying? If we taking a family trip, I'm gonna buy a car that's a little more spacious, more back room, such and such, you know. But if it's just me on the journey, I might get me a little two-seater, maybe a little sports car or something like that, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's the same way with this shit, you know. But yeah, man, just I feel like you were saying a lot of true shit that was getting me hyped, man. Over here, I'm just like,
Man,
bro,
you know what the mess make me think of too? Like a covering.
Mm.
So when we think of mask, obviously we think of self, but what about the things that have been masked? Like this world itself, right? Like the illusion that we living out. Like in Indian, is it the Indian? Um, the Vedka or whatever, I forget what it's called, but they got the thing called Maya. Maya, the world of illusion.
Yeah.
And then you have the Shekinah that power through this, which is like the true divine feminine source. And she's expressed in two ways, which is revealing and unveiling. They call it Vidya Maya and Avidya Maya. I'm sure I'm saying this wrong. But like the whole concept, and this is an ancient Indian philosophy. You kind of call it a religion, but more so they have like ideas and beliefs, and knowings. And this one come from the Rig Vedas and shit. So it's like this that ancient shit that should kind of be based upon. And when they talk about the world of illusion, they talking about this world that we live in. They call this the dream world. You asleep. In their mythology and their story, which mythologies really were just the story of the people being told through symbols. You thinking, oh, this dude took flight and transformed and rebirth, and maybe there was some niggas here who did that shit. That's not the point of being here though. And that's what a lot of this spiritual shit get mixed up at. These motherfuckers be trying to, Neo the bullets and shit and be in the hood still shooting at niggas, but when they shoot back, it's like, bro, come on, man. Like, you gotta do something else. You have to do something else because that's an illusion. And the only way to break free is to break the matrix. So let's say you put in this box, right? And they say in this box, all you could do is walk, run, or spin in a circle. That's it. If you do anything else, we gonna kill you. Ain't nobody gonna get in that box and do anything else except that. But the person who get it in their mind, fuck that, I ain't no walker, runner, or spinner. That ain't me. I'm something else. They gonna do something else. And when they realize they don't die, that's gonna be the freedom. You know what I'm saying? But what's crazy is somebody else could be in the box witnessing them not die after they do something else. They could be witnessing the shit and still be like, I'm gonna keep spinning, nigga. Fuck that. I don't know what that nigga doing. Even if they see him crawl out the box, they don't want to know what's out the box no more. Even if they knew before, a lot of time, and we do know before. That's why they call it the world of illusion, because you've been veiled. Before you was veiled, you were unveiled. You knew everything. You was one with everything. But then coming to this motherfucker, now you here for spiritual advancement, and maybe that's what we like to tell ourselves. Maybe that's what we like to hear. Because when we talking about like everything to do with yourself, that's the whole science, man. It's like we could go on for days about this shit. It's like, how do you center yourself? For some people, they think, oh, this, that. They talking about that meditation and blah, blah, blah. Nigga, centering yourself could be eating a bowl of noodles, nigga.
Real talk.
You know how to make them noodles so good, you gotta have a good day after this. You ain't even right till you had your coffee or whatever, like, and then you start to peep. You commence rituals all day, every day. You thinking a ritual is, nigga, I got these candles and nigga, that, bro, a ritual could be you putting some shoes on, bro. And like, what is a ritual? What do that mean? A ritual is a equation that equals something. And when you equal something, that's a return on your investment. You put something in and you do something, that's the equation, and you get an outcome. And your outcome is what you get from the ritual. So like you said, if a ritual is cooking, I'm finna get some food. If a ritual is going to work, I'm gonna get some money. And you're participating in someone else's ritual. That's why I encourage everybody to start cursing shit, nigga. Start cursing shit. Y'all might feel more comfortable saying, I'm gonna start blessing things. Okay, but what is a blessing doing? I know what a curse do. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker come around this bitch, they finna be tore up. You curse that shit, nigga. And it don't gotta be violent to death. And that's another thing I want to talk about is karma. Is motherfuckers worried about, oh, if I do this gonna happen. That's something you subscribe to in your mind. Just like anything else, that's a mask you wear that you make real. And that's the thing we should have mentioned earlier. That every mask you wear make the mask real. So if you wearing the mask of the nigga who fly, you could fly. I don't give a fuck what nobody tell you. You could fly, nigga, but can you trust yourself to actually jump and see if you really finna take flight? That's where people get stopped down. You don't really believe this shit for real. You know what I'm saying? What up, cuz? Love you, man.
That's real.
Yeah, no, that's it. You get stuck in the belief part of it. What about the action? Once again, the doing, do the work. Like we here to let this shit become. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers be trying to come with some kind of information thinking they done saw some shit. So now they finna keep doing that shit. What you finna do with that information? Which is where a lot of the conspiracy shit had led me. I damn near figured out the whole world. You know, in my head, it's always a million more conspiracy. I have figured out all pizza mean this and they kids and they summoning demons and they doing, and you starting to peep like what's going on, and you like, how could people just keep living in this system? Cause then we gotta take care of our kids. We gotta survive. How I'm gonna go eat if I don't go to work? You participating in your own imprisonment, you know, but you don't have to only do that. You know what I'm saying? It's like the people who spent some time in the rebel forces in Star Wars. They was a rebel soldier. They saw how they would send y'all out into the different planets and massacre everybody, and then you just come back and have dinner like a normal day. That shit ain't okay, but you participating in it. Why? Because you wanted to be a hero, because as a kid, the soldiers to you look like heroes. So you became one, and when you became one, you found out that these heroes was nothing like what you thought. If this is what a hero is, shit, I don't want to be it, but now you can't escape it, because now you it. So how do you make your way out of it? Shit, you first of all, damn near gotta become the best at the shit. You gotta understand this shit fluidly to where you can break free. You become something else. You know, and a lot of time that shit is destruction and rebirth. You know what I mean? And that's why we be talking about this shit, man. It's because you gotta understand how to advance through any step in life. Cause shit, the shit that be coming to us, especially as black people, like, for less of a better term, you wasn't prepared with the shit to deal with this on a physical level. It's in you already before you was here. You have all the tools necessary, but you have to receive them. You have to use them. Like we was talking about. You gotta use it. And that's what this talking about, is identifying what's going on and then accepting it. Integrating the shadow. The hidden self is just the self. It's the one that you hid. You're the one who hiding from yourself. And man, I love this shit because, bro, the more you start to understand what is you, now you can accept what is you, and now you can be what is you. And the being what is you is the doing shit. A lot of times the shit sounds so crazy. Well, what do that mean? What do that mean exactly? Because I can't tell you. You got to figure out what it means to you. If I tell you what it means to me, that's what it means to me. What does it mean to you? What does any of this information mean to you? What does learning about what the fuck going on in the world mean to you? Meaning, what are you going to do from there? You just going to be pissed? Because if you're going to just be pissed and angry, you're just feeding into further what they're trying to do already. Their whole plan is to get you in a state of mind of lack, of worship, in the midst of all of the lack, of pain, of disdain, and just total just lack and emptiness. They want to get you there so that once you in that state of mind, you start to radiate those things. And the more you stay in that state of mind and the stronger you feel those emotions, you create this thing that's called an egregore. It's called an egregore. And what it is an entity, a being created from your thoughts and emotions, channeled over time. Now imagine if everybody in this motherfucking factory in here working just shitty as hell. There's an egregore being created over that FedEx factory. And what do these things do? What do these entities do? They feed on your ass. You fool. You're being fed on by your own negative emotions. Now I suggest everyone identify these things and starve them. I suggest everyone starve the fuck out of any egregore they've been feeding and begin to feed themselves. You can channel this energy into yourself rather by what we've been talking about the whole time. Finding how to transmute, bro. I'm telling you, this shit crazy. Some bullshit could happen. You could dead ass be like, water off a duck's back, nigga. You ever seen a duck come up out that water? The water drip down them one time because it don't stick. There's nothing to stick.
How would you
in
say,
the world, not of it.
I mean, cut you off, but how would you say that? How can we, for people who watching or just don't understand, how can we have the water roll off our back, so to speak, you know, in our day-to-day lives, you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Or just what the shit we deal with, you know, what are some things or some ways that we can start adopting to, you know, let that water roll off our back versus getting so worked up and shit. You know?
Man, I love that question. First of all, thank you for asking that. The way it start is awareness, like we've been talking about. Understand you're going to accept that you're feeling things about things. That's what's happening. Something happened and you feel a way about it and it affects you. You're carrying it around with you. Same way I'm talking about, you can create something and think and it become a thing that feed off of you. You can mentally carry things with you that weigh you down through the day. And mind you, all this is to become enlightened, to become lighter. So the whole point is to unload. How do you start to unload? First, you got to recognize your trauma. Understand your triggers, man. You have to figure out, what is it that angers me? Everything don't make you mad. A pint of, you know, a fifth of Henny don't make you mad. But after drinking a little, now you angry about some shit. What happened? Well, the alcohol happened. But also there's triggers there. There's things that get uncovered. So to start, you have to just recognize self. The mirror. The mirror is the first key. You have to start to accept self. And once you have an idea of, this is what I'm dealing with. I hate when, boom, this happens. And I don't know why. Every time I see a motherfucker eating a cheeseburger, I just be pissed. You have to start to actually see it. You have to notice it when it happens. Say, oh shit, I just got mad as hell. Damn. And even if you don't fix it in the moment, start to study this shit. I suggest keeping a journal, keeping some kind of referenceable thing to actually look at yourself. And over time, you'll be like, damn, I got mad about this 8 times in the past week. Damn, today. So once you see that, what do? Then you begin to adopt methodologies. So I will look up things like meditation, guided meditation, just to start, just to even get your mind state just to even see what the mind state looks like of what someone trying to do, what the goal of a guided meditation is. And it might just be like, think of a peaceful place. Like, this is the same shit you'll get in a therapist's office, you know, but you're doing it for self. They try to teach you therapy, which I've come to find out there's a lot of benefits to therapy, but overall, just can't trust it. You know what I'm saying? And I can get much better. Whatever you're trying to get at therapy, you can get it much better just from yourself. Yeah, fine. Can't nobody know you better than yourself. That's you. So the way you want to do it to become the duck is you have to first enter the fire. You have to accept what's quote unquote pissing you off, what's bothering you. It could be sadness, it could be whatever's triggering that strong emotional feeling. You find that shit. And once you find it, you dive into a pool of it. You have to engage in it as much as you can, actively, in the right state of mind, with the intention of coming out of the other side of that situation, out of that equation, with what you want it to equal. So I say that to say, you got to engage in the bullshit to come out of the bullshit not engaging in the bullshit. You have to engage the shit that makes you so fucking whatever, and then you have to actively shift your actions through that moment, through that time. And it's crazy because you'll start to notice, you'll be like, I'm finna tell this motherfucker about that side. And then you'll just go, man, you got it. And it'll start to look different. Sometimes you be like, you do it in a way real passive aggressive, where you're like, yeah, man, whatever. Take the wins. Take the wins. If you try it and you just totally snap on a person, but you snap a little bit less than you wanted to, that's a W. That's a W. Celebrate your wins. And don't get stuck there. Don't celebrate your win and be like, I did it, I'm better. I didn't snap as much as I want. Accept yourself. Be for real. I know I got more work to do, but instead of being up here, I was right here. And then next time you aiming for here. Even if you go back up here, that don't mean, oh, it's over with. You have to be consistent with yourself, you know? And it almost sounds like what we talking about is just self-betterment and shit like that. If that's what it need to be for you, then bet, man. You know, whatever this sound like to you, cool, but that's a real way. The way you start to do it is understand how you look at things, you know? How do you look at shit? What do you really feel and believe, and what do you want? Understanding what you working towards, because if you're doing this shit just to feel like oh, I can control myself, that might not be it, man. What's your real goal with finding knowledge of self? Because the thing that's exciting to me, is almost egotistical, is finding myself. Is really seeing, who the fuck are you, nigga? Like, who are you? I know what I thought I was. I know what I think I am. I'm leaving the door open to a possibility that I don't know everything about myself, but that I can learn it and that I can find out why shit is happening. And as I keep that magnifying glass on me, I find more and more shit. And it's crazy because at points you be like, man, I got it. I get it now. I got it. I got the sauce. I got the formula and the potion. But that shit ain't hitting for some reason one time. It's working and it's working till it ain't working. You know what I'm saying? Check on baby girl. What you doing? What you doing? Man, another thing I was thinking about is like the demiurge. Like the freaking demiurge, he's like wearing a damn mask of like a false creator. You know? Once again, like shit being portrayed as something that it ain't. It's like that's their main push. It's like, how can we make something seem like something else so that we can get some other shit to be some other, or just twist everything. Because what's real is always going to be real, so they have no choice but to mix as much as they can, because the real is going to purify back into one anyways. So they have to keep trying to mix shit in it. Like, boom, let's say you had a baby with a white girl, he would never do this. But let's say that happened, the child going to be mixed. If your child have a baby with a black person, right back on point. If they have a baby with a white person, they gonna be right back white as hell. You know what I'm saying? But that black always gonna be there though. And then let's say they had a baby with a white person, then another baby with a white person. They got a black great granddaddy. Well, if one of them descendants have a baby with a black person, that melanin rise right back to the top. It take right back over, and then you could always still kind of see it. You could always still kind of notice when that shit in there, because it's not about race. That was another trick. They want you to think, oh, you can see your blackness. You know what I'm saying? So you must be XYZ. That shit got very literally nothing to do with anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's white motherfuckers that is helping, XYZ is doing whatever to help how they can, and it's niggas that's out here destroying.
That's real.
You know, and every spirit got their path, man. You know, like the mirror, like we talking about the mirror. When I think about mythologies with mirrors and shit, it's like, oh boy, who like fell in and drowned. The narcissist, the story of Narcissus, the Greek motherfucker. He was like a god, fell in love with his image, right? But it also make you think about like John D and them, like the queen's whatever, her mage or whatever, her magician. He was one of the first people we heard about. Well, not one of the first people, but he popularized the black mirror, the magician's mirror, where they scry into that shit. And you could see other entities. You could see beyond yourself. In a normal mirror, you just looking at yourself. In a black mirror, you seeing beyond yourself into what else is there. And like with Narcissus, this nigga stared at himself so deeply. He wanted to be with himself. He wanted to be beyond the reflection. He wanted to be with himself. You know what I'm saying? Pause. This nigga was on that. And then he ended up falling in and dying, but it can also be like symbolic of self-love to the point of you will forever be involved with yourself, meaning you are continuously going to observe yourself no matter what. And when you do this, it's like, bruh, this shit might really piss you off. Like, you will start to feel like there's multiple parts to yourself, like multiple personalities. Like, oh my God. But then you gotta, your higher self is they try to tell you it's called conscious, your conscience. What it really is you taking control of what's going on with yourself. You have to, because it's easy to be like, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow. It's hard to be like, nope, gotta do this. Don't even want to, but boom, that shit hard to do. Everybody try to point it as a portrait of like, all right, this just some self-help shit. We just gonna be healthy. It's beyond that, man. Stop finding your value in the physical plane. Because when we talk about Kabbalah and shit, they call the physical plane the Malkuth, the Asaya. The Asaya, Yesera, I always forget the third one. And then there's Absolute. You know what I'm saying? Or Brian, the mental world. And then Absolute. Absolute, spiritual. Brian, mental. Yetzer, emotional world. These are different worlds. And then we don't live in any of these only. We live in all of them. But the one we live in physically is the lowest, called Asaya. Even in the name, they be telling you, like, it's the ass, nigga. It's the nobody want to, you know what I mean? This where the cusp is. You feel me? There's a cusp here, but that's because that's the exit. You feel me? You gotta make your way out this bit, bro. Like, they be telling us in movies and everything, like, tap in with me for the breakdown soon. We doing a good one on Final Fantasy VII soon. Like, it be so much that these stories portray that is so fucking just blatantly, first of all, telling you stuff, and it's interesting. But it's not just interesting, it's revealing yourself to yourself if you could just read the symbols. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We gotta start to dig more into this shit, bro, for real. On me. I'm finna wrap it up, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Feel something you wanna tell the people, you let them know, man.
Man, shit, just to, you know, kind of bring it back to what we were saying, just so people can get the basic, leave with the basic understanding. I always kind of like to end it with that, just to make sure people got something, because, you know, not saying that we was just talking, because we said a lot of important stuff, especially you was snapping, you know what I'm saying? But just want to make sure they can leave with like, okay, I get exactly, you know. But anyway, yeah, just knowing that you yourself, as you think of yourself, is like one of the ultimate masks that you could ever have. You know, it is one of the most long-lasting, perpetual ones that we perpetuate ourselves, amongst many others. You know, anything that is material or in just temporary, is a mask. You know what I'm saying? And this is not saying this to demonize masks or bog them down to of absolute no importance. But it is important to know that these things are that, you know what I'm saying, and that they point to something much more greater. You know what I'm saying? Is the focus is to understand the pointing to something greater and the focus on what the actual greater is. You know what I'm saying? And what that means for you and really for the totality of human beings in general. You know what I'm saying? Just the world at large. You know what I'm saying? Because all these masks, if you get too invested in them, they cut you off from the totality of experience, and that leaves you in a really boxed in, fragmented mode of experience. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's one of the most sad things about society, is that we have so much potential as humans, but a lot of us attach ourselves to so many things that kind of stifle that, you know what I'm saying? And the way to not become stifled is to, you know, use these things and know them for what they are, which are tools, you know what I'm saying, and uniforms and outfits. That's why I like to describe these things as such, because These are all things that you participate in, you use it for a certain time, and then you take it off. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to take it off because it's not you. How practical will it be to fucking be wearing my whole work outfit in the shower? You know what I'm saying? Like a place where you know what I'm saying, you're supposed to be cleaning your actual body. I got my whole shit on, shoes and everything, you know what I mean? That would be insane, you know what I'm saying? But that's what we do in terms of you know, becoming attached and making these masks the totality of what this experience is, you know what I'm saying? So just wanted to, keep that in mind, and just, to wrap, basically simplify all of that is just like, these masks are inevitable as far as your human experience, but they're not your essence. They're here for a reason, and you have to be aware of that reason to be able to move accordingly and use them to their highest potential. So yeah, without saying too much more, that's what kind of wrap it up with that.
Man, no doubt, man. Thank you, bro. Thank you for your time today, man.
Thanks for having
me. You already know, tap in. More coming soon. I was saying that the game breakdowns, anime, we getting all kind of stuff 2026, man. Stay tuned in. You feel me? OccultHearts. Check me out on Patreon. We be having the full length joints. These is like some free episodes we do for the family, for the community. You feel me? But for the full breakdowns, for readings, everything you need spiritually, you feel me? We getting the shop set up over there. Tap in on Patreon, man. Same name, you know what I'm saying? And we'll be back with more of that, you know what I'm saying? More of that light soon enough. Appreciate y'all, everybody who tap in. Love y'all for real, man. Anybody who come in here and shit is tapping in and just listening and shit. Hopefully y'all finding anything, you know what I'm saying, useful in it too. That's what's up. That's the love, man. We appreciate y'all for real. Shit. I think everything about being said, man, bro, wrapped it up. You know what I mean? So without too much more being said, love.